So we've had our steak searing for a couple of minutes. We're going to flip this bad boy over and we're going to get the other side. Like so. I'm going to flip it over. There you go. Now look at that nice crust right there. That's what you want on top of that steak. We're going to sear the other side for another couple of minutes. What's going on, everyone? Today I'll be making an organic ribeye steak, a grass-fed ribeye. This is it right here. So let's do it. So tonight for dinner, I'm making an organic ribeye steak. Grass-fed ribeye steak right here from Simply Truth Organic. Really good, but I'm gonna pan sear this with some garlic and some thyme and some olive oil, and you'll see. So this is how it's going down tonight. We have a nice organic grass-fed ribeye steak that we're going to sear up in the pan. I'm going to do that with some nice olive oil along with some salted French butter. We're going to saute up some asparagus, and always got to have garlic. And last but not least, little $6 bottle of Barefoot Pinot Noir California wine. So here we have a grass-fed organic ribeye steak, and we're going to season this up. We're going to do some kosher salt, and you always want to get your steak at room temperature. You don't want to sear this up too cold. But we're going to salt up the steak. Pat that down. Season it really well. I'm going to do some fresh cracked pepper. I usually use fresh thyme, but I don't have any right now. I forgot to buy some. So I'm just going to use a little bit of ground thyme and season that there. Now you do have the option of using garlic powder, but I'm not going to use garlic powder because I'm using fresh garlic, so it's not necessary. So we've got one side seasoned. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Kosher salt. Kosher salt, you have bigger crystals. It has a lot more flavor. Pat it down. Doing this real quick tonight. Pepper. And then some more thyme. Then we're going to take the rest of the seasoning and just kind of get it all over the sides here. We want to season it really, really well. So our steak is pretty much at room temperature. I'm just going to let it sit for a minute before we get it in the pan. And now we're going to chop up a few pieces of garlic for our steak and for our asparagus. Simple way to crush garlic, no garlic press needed. This is a very simple way to crush garlic, no garlic press needed at all. You just take a good butcher knife and you smash it down. This makes it very easy to peel. I have 5 cloves here. I like a lot of garlic. And then it becomes very easy to peel once you crush it. Like so. So we have our steak seasoned up at room temperature. We're going to sear that up in this beautiful stainless steel pan right here. We have all our ingredients, our olive oil, our garlic ready, our butter, our kosher salt, and black pepper. Okay, so now it's time to sear up this steak. What we're going to do, we're going to take some olive oil, we're going to put it in the pan. to let that swirl around here, coat the bottom of that pan with the olive oil, like so. What you want to do immediately is take your garlic and put it in with the olive oil at the same time, because you want the garlic and the olive oil to cook at the same time so the garlic doesn't burn. Okay, so always put it in at the same time so it gets hot together, and that way you won't have burnt garlic. Once this garlic starts to fry up, I'm going to take it out so it doesn't overcook. I'm going to put it back in our prep dish and keep this pan hot. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil, and then we're going to get our steak seared up. Now, we're going to scoop this up. I'm using just a simple tablespoon. I'm going to scoop up this garlic. We're going to put it back in the prep dish. It's okay if a little bit is left in the pan. You just want to take most of it out. But if you have a few pieces here and there, not a big deal. So we got the garlic out the pan. The pan is still hot. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil to the pan. Just a little bit. And we're going to let that pan get really hot and smoky. You always want to sear your steak in a really, really hot pan, because that's how you're going to get that nice crust on the steak. Get a nice sear on that steak. Crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. I like my steak medium rare, always. But of course, you cook it to however you like. So this pan is nice and hot. We got some steam coming off the pan. Now we're going to sear this steak. This is the way to do it. Our steak is at a good room temperature. We have it all seasoned up. We're going to put it in the pan. Now, listen to that. That sounds great. That's what you want. That's how you're going to get that hard sear on the steak. You only need to do this for a couple of minutes on each side. You want to make sure that olive oil is getting at the bottom of that steak so it gets that nice sear on the bottom. So we've had our steak searing for a couple of minutes. We're going to flip this bad boy over and we're going to get the other side. Like so. I'm going to flip it over. There you go. Now look at that nice crust right there. That's what you want on the top of that steak. We're going to sear the other side for another couple of minutes. Remember, we're going for medium rare. So now our steak has been cooking for a couple of minutes on the other side. So we should have a nice sear on the other side as well. But now what we want to do is you want to get the side. So you're going to take your tongs, you're going to flip the steak over to its side like this. And let that fat sear in the pan for more flavor. You want to get that crust on all sides of the steak. Because it holds in the flavor, it holds in the juice of that medium rare steak. You got a good sear on that side, we're going to do the other side now. Look at that brown. That fat's been brown right there. That's how you want it. That's what's going to hold in that flavor. this pan on a very high heat. This is how you get that type of steak. Get all the sides here. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take our French butter. Let's get a tablespoon. We're going to put some butter in the pan, and we're going to baste the steak in butter. So let that get in there all around. That's going to melt really, really fast. And always do this at the end because you don't want to burn the butter. See how fast that melted? This is going to give the steak really, really good flavor. So what you're going to do now is you're going to baste the steak in the butter over the top, just like this. Just doing this for maybe 30 seconds or so. This steak is done. We want medium rare, so this steak is done. Basting the steak is going to hold in all that flavor with the butter, the olive oil, the spices, the thyme, the pepper, the salt. Now, I'm going to turn it off. We're going to get a clean plate. We're going to plate this steak right away. We're going to get the steak out of the pan, off the heat. Just like that. Now we got this steak off of the heat. You want to let your steak rest for a good 5 to 10 minutes, because if you cut into it right away, all the juices are going to flow all over the place. So you want it to rest. You want that flavor to get distributed. So what I do, I simply take a piece of aluminum foil. I just place it over the steak, and it'll rest for 10 minutes, then we're going to slice it up. So now our steak has rested for a good 10 minutes, and we're ready to slice it up. Look at that, looks beautiful. I like to slice my steak into strips, and look at this, it came out. It looks like it came out really good. We got a nice pink center, a nice medium rare. Delicious, nice and juicy. This is a grass-fed, organic steak. No hormones, anything. This was about $10 for 10 ounces. But the flavor on this is really good. It's worth it. I'm going to slice that up into strips. You know, and then whatever sauce that you like to use. I mean, you can eat this without sauce. It'll be perfectly fine. But if you like A1, if you like Worcestershire sauce, if you just like to put a little red wine on it, or you just put the garlic on it, it's perfectly fine. Whatever you're into. I like to do a little bit of Tabasco and A1 on mine. So that's it, folks. Very easy to do. We have our wonderful asparagus that are ready to go. We got our steak. Nice low carb meal here, and I'm going to have a glass of red wine. Just going to plate this. Put a few asparagus. Nice garlic there. And we'll just get a couple strips of steak. There you have it, steak and asparagus. Until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.